What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, it's been long awaited. I've been promising this one for a couple of weeks, and finally going to talk a little bit about the DPS monk. Now, this build was shared with me from a viewer, Ernest T. He asked me not to link his channel, so if he wants to share his identity with you guys, he is more than welcome to put it in the comments below, and I will add it to the description. However, I also must say that I'm not doing this build justice, because although I grinded and grinded and grinded and grinded out on the monks, I did not get the ideal pieces that he suggested I get. So anyway, let's go ahead on in and take a look. Now, first off, we're all hero damage and hero crit damage is ideal. We're not worrying too much about ability power at all. And just a little extra kicker, if you get some storm damage or fire damage or whatever on your weapon, you'll be better off. Now, the ideal weapon for this build, of course, is going to be the spooky weapon. And you know what? I sold so many spooky weapons, it's just ridiculous. But I wasn't able to find another spooky weapon that had the passive power up on it. Heroic Wave hero damage boost is increased by, in this case, 18%. Now, you want to get that passive on your weapon and on your relic, and that are really the only two passives you want to concern yourself with. Now, you do need to make sure you get yourself to the crit cap, which is 30%. As we see here, I'm there. However, since I had kind of crappy luck with the gear, I had to dump a bunch of skill spheres into hero crit to be able to get there. Now, the other requirement is going to be the large crane stance sphere 1. Each ranged secondary attack increases the damage of the next melee primary attack by 45%, stacking up to 6 times. Now, here's what makes this powerful. That's not something you're probably going to time perfectly every time. However, when you're running through the map and running up to mobs, it gives you an opportunity to spam a little damage into them as you're approaching, and then get yourself a nice damage buff right as you start off the actual combat with the mobs in question. Now, we're going to combine that with Dragolich, and then, of course, the only ability we're going to worry about is Heroic Wave. The monk emits a wave of stabilizing energy that heals all nearby heroes and increases their hero damage for a time. Now, of course, we've got the power-up passive to increase that damage boost by an additional 18% on the weapon, and then by an additional 17% on our relic here. Now, like I said, I'm not doing this build justice. I wanted to go ahead and get the video out just because I did promise it so long ago and just have not got the drops. I've had terrible monk RNG, and that has led to me almost giving up on it, since I'm mainly using my EV for DPS now. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this bad boy build and see what we're able to achieve. Now, just by cycling through our secondary and our primary abilities, we're able to get over 100k pretty easily. In fact, you can just sit here and spam and get over 100k with crits in the mix. So getting to 100,000 is pretty darn easy with this build, and that puts you on par to start to be effective in Nightmare 4. Now, obviously, that's nowhere near what all the beastly DPS heroes out there are doing, but it's a good beginning. Now, we're going to take that same philosophy. We're going to get our Heroic Wave charged up, and then we're going to pop it and run in. This is going to get us even higher into the 100Ks, up to 167,000. I think I saw 188 in there as well. So you can definitely spike the damage up very nicely, just using your Heroic Wave and Notepad. Now, to take this one step further, let's go ahead and pop Heroic Wave and Dragolich at the same time. And this is where we're going to really start to see it scream off. You see we got a 556 in there, there was a 600,000, and then it starts to drop back down. you can pretty easily get over the 600,000 mark. I've seen as high as 700,000 with some lucky crits. Now let's go ahead and keep moving it further along, and we're going to... Okay, my hero crit is already maxed, so there's no point in using a salve for that. But I am going to pop a strongman salve and an impactful hero salve to increase the amount of crit damage, and then let's take a look at it and see what we're able to do. Same thing, I'm going to pop my wave and Dragolich at the same time, and get on in there, and we're going to see numbers 650, 634, and then we're dropping back down into the 5s and 3s and so on. Now let's go one step further again. Bust out our buddy Monk. Now obviously, if you're playing any sort of melee DPS build, you're going to be doing all your damage dealing in a Serenity Aura. So, if you can, if the Monk in question's Serenity Aura is large enough, definitely pop Empowering Calm. That's going to give you an additional 25% hero damage to any heroes inside of the Serenity Aura. So let's go ahead and switch back over and see what we can get going here now. Same thing, we're going to pop the wave and Dragolich at the same time, and then get on in and start wrecking the faces. There's a 738, 707, and we get over that 700,000 DPS mark pretty darn easily. So like I said, I'm nowhere near doing this build justice. Ernest, when he's fully buffed up and got a Serenity Aura, is doing significantly more than this, but I wasn't quite able to 100% duplicate the set of gear that he had. And basically, it's just all going maximum crit, so you need to get yourself to 30% crit, and then focusing everything else on your hero damage and your hero crit damage. You must have the power-up passive on your weapon and on your relic. And then, of course, ideally, you're using that spooky weapon. So that's going to do it for now. Thanks again for watching. Hope this helps all of you Monk DPS fanatics out there. Have fun, and we'll see you soon.